Hello.
Hi, Hannah. How's it
How
going today?
Pretty good. How are you doing?
Doing okay. I'm so excited for today's topic.
Me too. It's one of my favorites.
You want to announce what our topic
Yeah.
is?
We're going to talk about muzzles today. And muzzles have a huge misconception and connotation in our society, but they can be such a great tool for us to use for our dogs. So I think it's great that we get to talk about it and share the great things that muzzles can do for dogs and people.
Agreed. They can be life-changing,
Yes, exactly.
and they can also um, provide a support that nothing else can in an
Mhm.
emergency. And we'll talk
Right.
about that a little bit later. But we
Yeah.
do have two stories that we want to share with people. So do you want to start with Bruno's story?
Yes. So Bruno came to KK9 after he had a bite. He got startled by another dog and ended up biting that dog. It wasn't a severe bite. The dog was fine. But the apartment complex that Bruno lived in was very upset about this, which is fair. So Bruno learned to wear a muzzle, and we did a bunch of other training to help with his reactivity as well, because he was very startled from then on. So the apartment complex told his owner that he must wear a muzzle every time he's outside. And so thankfully, his owner called us and we put him in a basket muzzle, and it just totally changed their life. He was able to go outside for his walks and do everything he liked to do normally. It allowed them to continue living there, which is a huge thing. You need a place to live. And it also provided his owner with a lot of peace of mind, which is one of the best things our muzzles can do. They can offer the humans a lot of peace of mind while you're walking your dog. If an off-leash dog runs up to you, your dog is less likely to hurt the other dog because they're wearing these great basket muzzles. So it really was a life-changing event for Bruno and his mom, and it was just the best thing we could have done for Bruno was put a muzzle on him.
Well, I would like to show the two pictures that
Yeah,
you sent of Bruno. He's adorable.
he is, and he's a very sweet dog. He's so silly.
Yeah, and both of these pictures are just beautiful. So I'm going to bring his
Yeah.
picture up here.
So the great thing about this basket muzzle is Bruno can pant and take treats, drink water. And the biggest thing was he could take treats on his walks, because he would only wear his muzzle if he was outside. He didn't need to wear it in the house or anything of that nature. So when we were on walks, he could still take treats right through the little hole there on top. And he had no qualms with his muzzle, because we teach the muzzles just like anything else, right? We create a lot of value for it. So putting it on Bruno was no big deal.
And
And
look, I love looking at his body language. His ears are relaxed.
yeah.
His eyes are relaxed. There's no tension in the forehead. His little tongue, you can kind of see his little tongue
Yeah.
there. He's just in a very normal, peaceful, kind of relaxed state there.
Yeah. He
And
was just
there's
laying on the rocks.
he is. And then here's a picture of him just hanging out with mom.
Mm-hmm.
And again, that body language, there's no tension. His ears and everything just look like he's just chilling and enjoying watching the world go by.
He was no problems at all.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for sharing about Mr. Bruno.
Yeah,
He's a beautiful boy.
he is. Tell us all about Pip.
Pip was a foster dog that I had for about a year and a half, and Pip had a lot of trouble. Um, this is just one part of Pip's story. There's a lot to Pip's story, but in order for him to do some normal things in life, he had to learn how to wear a basket muzzle. And that was not difficult at all. Pip had a hard time with a lot of things in life, but learning to wear that muzzle was not difficult. We played a game with the muzzle every day, and he knew where the muzzle was kept. It was on top of the refrigerator. And so if I went over to the refrigerator and I said, let's play muzzle, he would look up and get excited about it. And it was a game. Something yummy went on the inside of the muzzle. He put his nose in, and boy, oh boy, jackpot time. And we did it very slowly. And by the time it was time to actually attach the muzzle behind his ears and around his head, it was no problem. And it allowed us to go on some modified walks. It allowed him to, still participate in taking treats. If he needed to get a drink, he could do that. And it just was not anything traumatic for him. And it gave him the ability to participate in things in normal life that he might not have been able to participate in. The rescue that I was working with did have a behavior vet come to the house. And the first thing that she asked when she came was he muzzle trained? And she was pretty excited when I went over to the refrigerator and said, let's play muzzle. And he was excited. So
Good.
working with a behavior vet or doing things with even just a regular vet, sometimes a muzzle can be a real strong support for what you want to accomplish.
Exactly.
And also, I did want to share a picture of
Let's see him.
Pip here. I'll find the picture and then I'll do my screen share. So while I'm finding the picture, do you want to talk about what kinds of muzzles we like?
Yeah. So the pictures you saw, Bruno, were basket muzzles, and that's what we always recommend. We want our dogs to be able to pant, take treats, drink water. I've seen dogs who have been able to eat with a muzzle on. And it looks like a big cage around your dog's face. And the key here is safety. If we use the muzzles, the mesh muzzles that hold our dogs' snouts closed, they can't pant. And then we see overheating and a lot of other issues may come along with that. So while those basket muzzles may look kind of scary, really, they just provide a lot of support for our dogs, like Kate was saying. And also that Kate mentioned, the world that you were able to offer to Pip was so much bigger if he could wear his muzzle. So that's the best thing here, right? They look scary to humans, but if we can get over those negative connotations, our dogs live so much better lives, right? So it's so nice that Pip was able to have a bigger world just because he was muzzle trained.
The picture that I have doesn't show him with a muzzle,
That's
but
okay.
it's a beautiful picture and it just shows kind of the best side of Pip. And there were other sides of Pip that could be scary. And so when I share this screen, I think people will see that there was a great dog inside. There he is.
Oh, so handsome.
Yeah, he was a handsome boy. And like you said, knowing how to wear a muzzle opened up his world in ways that would not have been available to him. He even got to play with a couple other, some other doggy friends because he was able to wear the muzzle.
Yes, that is the best.
Yeah.
And even if you trust your dog wholeheartedly, when they meet other dogs, having that muzzle on them can still be a great peace of mind. You never know what these dogs might be communicating with each other in such a quick moment. So I'm so happy to see Pip. What a good guy.
Well, we had a couple other things we were gonna mention so that maybe we can dispel some myths.
Yeah,
There's a
let's
lot
do
of
it.
myths, and one of them is that only bad dogs wear muzzles. And I think
It's a
with
lie.
Bruno and Pip's story, we've already seen that's just not the case.
Not at all. Not at all. People assume that if a dog's wearing a muzzle, they have all sorts of issues. But in reality, those are great dogs. They love to cuddle. Bruno loved to cuddle. He would nuzzle his nose under the blankets and get all snuggly. He loved to see people. He was a great guy. Just that muzzle was a huge support and opened up his world, just like for Pip.
Mm-hmm. Another misconception is that muzzles are cruel. Well, you can see in the picture of Bruno, he was perfectly comfortable. There was nothing going on that was bothering him at all. And with Pip, if the muzzle had been cruel, he wouldn't have been excited to play the muzzle game.
Right. I would even go say the opposite. Not training your dog to wear a muzzle can be a cruelty. Hi, bud. Because, but Pip and Bruno's life would have been so much smaller. Their world would have been so much smaller if we would have not muzzle trained them. And we could consider that to be more cruel than teaching them to wear a basket muzzle.
Absolutely. Another interesting misconception is if the dog was trained, then the dog wouldn't need a muzzle.
Lies.
Yeah. Because training doesn't negate a reaction.
Right.
Dogs are still sentient beings with emotions. And when emotions are high with people or with any species, when emotions are high, that wins out.
Always. Yep.
And it will win out over training. And yes, trained dogs might have more impulse control, but in the heat of a moment, those emotions and reactive feelings are going to take over.
Right. Yep, I agree. And oftentimes in the training world, dogs who wear muzzles have spent more time in training. And that's obviously not always the case, but in the little circle that we're in, we train dogs to wear muzzles, so we could say that they're more trained.
Absolutely, definitely. And we saw with Bruno, it says one of our misconceptions that we want to dispel is that a dog with a muzzle can't communicate. He could communicate very well, and
He
so
could,
could
yes.
Pip.
Yes. Yep, you can still read all the same body language cues that you would get from a dog not wearing a muzzle. Bruno was able to take treats. He barked with a muzzle on. He made a lot of funny noises in his life, so he still did all those things with a muzzle. No big deal for him.
And dogs communicate so much with their body language. And
Right.
when we're looking at the soft eyes and the nice relaxed ears, that's communication. That's telling us that the dog is in a state of calm.
Yeah, exactly.
If Bruno's eyes, ears, tail, anything had looked uncomfortable, well, we might have assumed that there was something else going on.
Right.
But his body language told us that he was just fine.
Yeah. Was Pip always nice and calm in his muzzle too?
He really was. I think just like with any piece of equipment, I think it's important to realize that dogs, just like children, there's a threshold. You can't expect a dog or a young child to just tolerate something, whether that be a muzzle or with a child, maybe it's doing a certain task for an unlimited amount of time.
Right.
It's fair to end things while everyone's still having fun.
Yes, always.
So if we push, no matter what it is, even if I'm playing with my dog Chewy in the yard, we have some little agility weave poles set up right now because he's learning that skill,
Yeah.
and have some jumps set up. And we stop when he still has a little bit of energy. I don't want to tire him out. I don't want to push him past when it's fun. So with the muzzle, if it's a game, if we're playing the muzzle game, and we stop the game while everyone's still having fun, that's fair.
Right. Yeah. That's a big piece to the muzzles too. We can't expect our dogs to wear muzzles all the time. This is a situational support tool. It's not a lifelong. I mean, they'll wear it their whole lives for these moments, but they can't wear them 24/7.
No, and they don't want to be on a leash 24/7
No,
either.
exactly. Right.
It goes without saying that any kind of either equipment or task or whatever, there's a finite timeline, and that's fine. I have a finite timeline with a lot of things that I do
Me
as
too.
well. The last myth was that dogs with a muzzle don't get as many great experiences, and nothing could be further from the truth.
Agreed. Said it 100 times now, but both Bruno and Pip's world was better because of their muzzles. So they got to experience more great things in their life because of the muzzle.
Absolutely. There are many resources, but we want to let people know that right in Fort Collins, North Fort Collins, there's someone who makes muzzles, and she does an amazing job. And her name is now I've forgotten her name. It was on the top.
I don't actually know her name. I just know her
I
company.
do know her name, and now I feel bad because I
look it up.
should have written it down. But her business is called Trust Your Dog, and she is a trainer. She is she's now making muzzles and biothane leashes, long line leashes. custom equipment. She's making those things full time because she knows the value. She
Mhm.
knows how important it is for people to have the right equipment. So if you're looking for a source of
Yep.
really great equipment, Trust Your Dog is what to Google. And of
Yep.
course, you can always get in touch with us at KK9 Dog Training, and we'll be happy to point you in the direction of Trust Your Dog.
Yeah. The nice thing about Trust Your Dog's muzzles is they're so beautifully made. So we always recommend the Bakersville basket muzzle, which is a great tool. And that's what you saw Bruno wearing, right? He was in that Bakersville basket muzzle. But Trust Your Dog, they're colorful and so pretty, and she can make them custom to whatever colors are your dog's favorites. So that's always a nice way to also get the negative connotation away from muzzles too.
Yes.
I love her work.
There are dogs who have interesting noses,
Right.
and the Baskerville muzzles are great, but they don't fit every dog. So if you have a dog with a flatter face or just a different shaped head, you know, just a different skeletal formation,
Yeah.
a custom muzzle is going to work much, much better.
Yep.
Oh, hello.
Is that Chewy?
That's Chewy. Oh, somebody just came home.
Oh, lovely.
So I think we'll sign off for now, but
Okay.
it's so great to talk to you, and I can't wait for
Ditto.
people to hear all about muzzles. It's the
Me too.
best.
It is the best.
Take care.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.